All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in sincerity and truth on the four corners of the earth. All right, I'm just back with another quick lesson. Ran into an article on RT News. All right, Israeli minister threatens broad military operation against Gaza. Okay, now what I really wanted to grab, all right, the point that I wanted to get into, out of this article is, this is one of the ways that you could tell, all right, that those Israelis, those people over there, all right, are not the children of Israel. They're not the true Jews that the Bible speaks of, all right? Because in Isaiah, I'm going to grab it, Isaiah 2:4, and he shall judge among the nations, and he shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn the way, Salakia, neither shall they learn war anymore. Okay, so when the Lord comes back, all right, when the Israelites are in their land, okay, not the Israelis, but the Israelites, all right, war, all right, on the planet, all right, is going to be done away with, man. These bombs, guns, all the weapons are going to be destroyed. Now, if these, were the people, of the Bible, all right, as they proclaim that they are, there will be no more war. You wouldn't hear about an Israeli, which Israeli doesn't exist, all right, but just for the sake of the lesson, Israeli minister threatens broad military operation against Gaza, all right, with these bombs and all of this shit. Ain't gonna be none of that. So if those were the Israelites, and the Israelites being in their land, all right, and the Lord being on the earth, all right, which hasn't happened yet either, which is another indicator that those aren't the people, all right, but sticking to the topic, all right, there would be no war. There would be no military threat, all right, as far as these bombs and all this shit, man, But I'm going to get into the article. Israel is doubling down on its belligerent rhetoric as the public security minister says the army might launch a large-scale assault on Gaza. He warns the attack could be as massive as the bloody 2014 war. All right, the government will be forced to return to a broad military operation, all right, in Gaza if Hamas doesn't stop attacking Israel. All right, and that's another, because when the Lord comes back on the earth, all right, these nations not gonna have a heart to attack Israel. All right, everybody, even you so-called Christians, all right, you talk about when the Lord comes back, it's gonna be peace on earth. All right, and all these things. All right, but why is, the quote-unquote people of the Lord are at war? Now, if the nations get out of line in the kingdom of heaven, yes, we're going to correct them. All right, but all out like World War I, II, III, no, this is going to be the last war. This is World War III. All right? So ain't nobody going to be attacking the nation of Israel physically. You know what I mean? You ain't going to have a heart to, man. You know what I mean? All right, but it says, Gilad Erdan warned on Thursday. Speaking to state radio broadcaster Khan, he said that the potential military action could be at least as massive as the devastating Operation Protective Edge conducted in Gaza 4 years ago. All right, and you ain't gonna see, man. Hey, man, you ain't gonna see this in the Israelites running. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna see this in the kingdom, man. All right. Erdogan's remarks come after the IDF reported that Hamas launched several rockets into Israel from Gaza the previous night. Now going back to that Isaiah 2:4, all right, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, all right, meaning the weapons will be destroyed. So if these were the Israelites, if these were the people of the Most High, how do these nations have access to missiles to attack them in the first place? All right. It says the army, Salakia, the army also said that a day earlier it shelled Gaza with tanks. Salakia, yeah, it shelled Gaza with tanks and artillery after an IDF soldier was wounded by sniper fire near the border fence. The Israeli army is prepared for a large-scale attack on Gaza. Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman confirmed last week. He also warned that the operation will have a wider scope and will be much more painful to Hamas than the previous conflict. Tensions have been high on the Israel-Gaza border since late March, when Palestinians began fresh protests against the Israeli occupation. Over 130 demonstrators were killed in the following months by the Israeli army and security forces, according to health officials in Gaza. Israel's military response was condemned by the UN General Assembly and numerous humanitarian groups, which that's not going to be an issue in the kingdom of heaven. Ain't gonna, when the Lord say move, ain't no, the nations is not gonna buck up. It's not gonna be no NATO or no international alliances in the kingdom of heaven. It's gonna be the Israelites being the ruling class and everybody else falling under that. You know, so if these are the people of the Most High, all right, and they're in the land, they're in their land, like the prophecy said, the Israelites will come back to their land, or the Most High will put them back in their land. All right, why would they? How could they be condemned by a UN General Assembly and humanitarian groups? All right, Human Rights Watch had called for the IDF to be investigated for possible war crimes. The army blames the violence on Hamas and claims that the majority of the victims are Hamas operatives. The previous large-scale IDF operation in Gaza was mounted in 2014 after 3 Israeli teenagers were kidnapped and murdered by members of Hamas's military wing. All right, now if y'all the Israelites and y'all in your land and the Most High is dealing with y'all, all right, you know, coming back to that land, first of all, you had a loss within you. You wouldn't be going off, all right? But how could it, you think the Israelites are going to be getting kidnapped when we get back in our land, man? You think somebody going to be able to come up and snatch 3 teenagers? It's not even the young men, all right, or even the women to an extent. They'll have the Most High protecting them. Spiritual power, whatever have you. It's going to be no way to touch the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. So y'all over there getting killed, kidnapped, and all kind of things, man. That's how you know you're not the Israelites as it pertains to how life is going to be when you go back, when the Israelites go back into their land. All right. Where did I leave off? The subsequent UN inquiry found that 1,462 Palestinian and 6 Israeli civilians were killed during the 51-day assault. 1/3 of the Palestinian casualties were children. All right, but going back to that Isaiah 2:4, and he shall judge among the nations, and he shall rebuke many people. All right, I mean the Israelites are going to be in sole control of the planet. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, meaning there will be no more weapons on the earth. All right, so won't be no missiles, won't be no, you know what I mean? All these carnal weapons, guns, and all this crap, man, grenades. Ain't gonna be none of that, man. All right. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So that's how you know these people over there, all right, that's calling themselves, they call themselves Israeli, which that doesn't exist in the Bible. All right, but they're portraying themselves to be the Israelites. All right, so just this one prophecy lets you know, and there's many others. All right, this is just the first one that popped into my head. All right, that you are not the Israelites. You are not the children of Israel. Your lineage does not go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Or if you was in that land and your lineage did go back, and the Lord was obviously on the planet, you know, you wouldn't be at war right now with Gaza and all these things, man. All right, your people wouldn't be getting kidnapped over there and things like that. You would be at peace. All right, because when the Israelites, you Negro, Latino, Native, and Seminole Indian, all right, when we go back into the land, it's gonna be peace for us. We're gonna be at rest. We're not gonna be you know, worried about nobody shooting no missiles at us. You know what I mean? Or somebody invading our land. Y'all ain't gonna have the courage to do that. All right, that's why the Most High says, hey, that the heathen may know that there's a power in Israel. Y'all gonna know that who you call God is dealing with the Israelites. So y'all ain't gonna try none of that, man. And once again, it's just a, you know, a quick lesson, you know, a quick little indicator that, you know, further proves that those are not the people over there in that land. All right. But I hope that video was edifying. All right, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.